take his call.
He called me 4 times. I didn't take his call the first 3. Hey, everybody. It's Steve Moran. We are live today. I am with my good friend here, Doug Yates, the BTC guru.
Hello.
We are talking about all things exciting Bitcoin related. Doug, you're looking all fresh and cleaned up there. You must be. What are you doing? You got something going on this weekend? Or?
Yeah, I'll be out in Texas, just outside of San Antonio, talking at a Bitcoin Benz he's putting on a little BTC Bitcoin blockchain conference. So I'll be there. There's just 100 live and about 500 but we listening in via Zoom.
Okay.
And just talking about how to operate in this new Bitcoin world. And
cool.
it's great, just out there helping each other, learning, educate. You and I have been talking about this whole time. Education is the key. And this is a huge part of that. There's a lot of people there that want to help educate from the non-experienced to the heavily expert. In fact, they're at the end of May, there will be a 2-hour webinar that they're sponsoring, that they're having me on, that's talking specifically about smart contracts and how you can apply that in your business and personally. It's not really there yet, but we'll go to kind of what I think the future of smart contracts is. So yeah, exciting stuff happening.
All right. So are you going to be talking at that conference then?
Yeah, not officially, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime you get an opportunity, there was some good stuff. I'll tell you what one thing would be really cool value add we could do here for our audience is, you can go Facebook Live and like broadcast it to everybody, so everybody could actually see that content that you're referring to.
Yeah. Plus the lady that heads it up, her name's Lori Harmon, and she's really a go-getter. She's been in the crypto for a year and a half, but she's putting these events together all over, and they're growing like gangbusters. And I want to bring her on our show here too, and let her talk about what she's learning and how she can help educate people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before the COVID hit, we were putting on mastermind events. We were putting mastermind events for like business owners, high level entrepreneurs, like from all over the world. And one of the first events we were going to put on, one of the first challenges you come up with is usually the recording of the event, right? You want to always have that recording. And you go out and you look around and you find out, God, it's really expensive. People want like $6-8 grand to come in and record an event.
Last time I did a launch, it would cost me $15,000.
Right. Yeah. To have the video stuff done. And, when we first started doing the masterminds, we weren't doing a whole bunch of real, we weren't making hundreds of thousands of dollars every weekend we did them. Right. So we had to kind of figure out how to do that. And it was interesting because I was actually out in Scottsdale getting ready to put on an event. And I'm trying to figure out how, I don't have to pay the $6-8 grand,
right?
And how I can still add the value. And I had this epiphany. I thought, what? God, the world's changed so much right now. I said, instead of, me trying to, I can't even broadcast, record it on my phone because it takes up just all the storage, right? You couldn't record 2 days of stuff, but
right, exactly.
But what you can do though is, what I thought is, you can create a private Facebook group, and I can broadcast this right into a private Facebook group. And, now I can maybe charge for that. And, we ended up we had 27 people, I think, online that paid us $997.
Wow.
Just to listen in vicariously, watch us go through this whole thing, not even be at the mansion that we were putting it on at. And, the other thing with that is, you get to broadcast it using your phone, and Facebook holds it. You've got it all right there, right? So it's like being able to do this it's amazing. You're getting able to broadcast it live. You have all your video right there. You eliminate this cost, and now you can literally turn it into a profit center because you can actually charge people to come in and watch it and do it that way. So it's unbelievable. I really, it's another business that's kind of, if people aren't paying attention, is one of those businesses that's kind of, shrinking and shrinking and shrinking because, it's so easy to do yourself now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the upfront cost is crazy low. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, that's, that's anything,
Yeah. I was thinking about this morning as I'm, every morning I get up real early and I, do my meditation, do my exercises, and and then I look at the headlines and what's going on mainly in the blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin world. That's what I'm focused on. I mean, 100% of my life and professionally is right there. So then I was like thinking about the changes. What's going on.
Right.
As you get older, you think time's speeding up, and it kind of is in a sense.
Right.
What's happening is these times between major events are compressing, and they're getting shorter and shorter. And I think it has a lot to do with our communication ability. It used to be like 300-year cycles, and then the printing press came out, and that kind of shrunk it to like 150-year cycles. And then the telegraph came out, and that kind of shrunk it down a little bit more. And then the telephone came out, and that shrunk it even more. And then television, and then the internet, and then now it's almost instantaneously. It's almost like I give a great example. When I text my son, his response comes back before I lift my thumb off the last word that I text. I don't know how he does it.
Right.
But that's communication in this day and age, and so time is speeding up, and that wave that we used to have, that time between major events, is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So how do you live in an environment like that? And that's kind of that's why we're here. Education is huge. Taking a breather, breathing, that's very, very huge. I mean, about it in personal development, and sometimes if I start to get overstressed, I just compress my environment to me locally, what I can control. I can control my thoughts. I can control my breathing. I can control what I do with my time. And then so when I get heavy stressed, I go back to that bare minimum, and then I expand back out again as I'm feeling better and better, and then start affecting that a greater area of influence. But anyway, I was thinking about that this morning. I thought I'd pontificate.
So what's happening in the Bitcoin markets today?
It's there's some crazy stuff going on, and I captured some headlines, and I'll share my screen here. And one of the reasons why I do this is just to give you guys just a sense, a pulse of what's happening out there. And so I'm not trying to influence or do anything like that. Hold on, I started at the wrong slide. But I just want to give a pulse of what I see is happening out there. So here's a huge thing. This and one other thing I'm going to show you at the end. There's about 7 slides here. But Venmo is announced to they hinted at it a few weeks ago, and now they announced it. It was yesterday, I think they announced it, that they're going to basically allow in about a week you to send and receive cryptocurrencies. Huge. It's huge as far as adoption happens. Now this is bringing the ease of adoption.
They're playing catch up with like Cash App, right?
Yeah, catch up with Cash App, but they're huge. They're huge.
Right. Oh, yeah, they're huge, and that brings a lot more people into play with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Here's another one. It's kind of everybody says China is the doom and gloom, and all that they're more about control over there, and their governor of their they have 2 factions there. They have the control faction, and then they have the people who are very who are not as controllable as you would think. And they're saying now that cryptos are a viable investment option. Very conservative countries saying that. This I thought was interesting because over the weekend and this week, the price of Bitcoin has been kind of flat, or maybe kind of in a bearish type of a fall, not fall, but bearish type of action.
Right.
And they kind of basically this article talks about the bull market is well full upstream. A trader who predicted a Bitcoin crash basically says a bounce to 70,000 is imminent. And so here, I pulled something key out of the article down here. Amongst this correction, there's one thing that's true. So the supply shortage is real, and it's growing. And you and I have been talking about that, the supply shortage. How there's so much money of both retail money, which is you and I, and institutional money that are coming into Bitcoin that there's a shortage it's not a made up thing. The supply and demand is real. Oh yeah, this gentleman, Willie Woo, who's a pundit in the cryptocurrency Bitcoin arena, basically say we're just at the half. He thinks the halfway point. 400, well above 300 this year is completely achievable.
Right.
Okay, I thought this was real interesting. This Ray Dalio, he's always been a very skeptic. He poo-poos Bitcoin and it's not real. It's going to crash. It's going to go to zero. Now he's saying take 20% of your portfolio and put it into Bitcoin. 20%. Right. That's huge. That's not 1%. That's not like just take a teeny bit of risk capital. He's suggesting that you put a huge part of your portfolio in Bitcoin. I thought this was just on a side note. Ethereum has been one of the altcoins out there, and it's been huge gains, making all-time highs even during this downtime of this week or so. And by the end of July, this guy's saying that Colin at the Coin Bureau, they're saying that it'd be about 4,000 by then. So interesting,
right?
Okay, so and I wanted to do I brought this headline in for a reason. I didn't want you to think I'm just picking all the positive headlines out there and biased towards Bitcoin. And so there's one headline that Bitcoin could see significant correction if it loses key levels. It says a high-profile analyst. But if you read the article, it's kind of funny. You're like, oh, okay, so maybe I should be cautious or something. But in the article, he says, well, personally, I'm buying it every dip.
Right.
Oh, okay. But he's like, it could be his headline is like negative, huge corrections if this continues. But every time it dips, I'm buying. So
right.
I thought that was kind of hilarious. Okay, and here's what I wanted to end with. WeWork, which is a huge office share organization.
Right.
They had their ups and downs, and they're going public soon. But they're going to start taking Bitcoin amongst other cryptocurrencies as a method of payment for all their short-term office renting. But if you read it in the article, they also are saying that they're going to start paying their vendors with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin as the main cryptocurrency in there. And right. So that to me is huge, and kind of if you read between the lines, there's a lot of people behind the scenes, and I think Walmart is right behind this. I hear rumblings that as far as vendor payments from their point of view, they're going to start implementing blockchain and Bitcoin. I'll throw it back to you as I cancel my screen display here.
There we go. Got it. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, yeah. One thing I wanted to kind of mention out and kind of share with everybody. One of the quotes you said is a guy was talking about, as Bitcoin dips, he's going to keep buying.
Right.
Okay? See, think about this. Think about it this way. We know Bitcoin has a finite supply, right? There's only going to be 21 million coins ever. Right. Okay. Now, when you look at a typical stock, okay, and that's what most people are relating these dips to. Okay. Right. You look at a regular stock. If a regular stock dips, 5%, 10%, okay, there's a reason for that. Okay. There's a real reason, and there could be so many different reasons because we're talking about a business. Okay. We're talking about an entity that has so many different things that can be happening with it. So yeah, if a company stock dips 10% or 20%, that's going to scare the hell out of the market. A lot of people are going to start to jump out, and it could just like crush a business, right? And most people will not say, wow, if it dips, I'm going to buy. When it dips, I buy, right? Because typically that could be, you could have an accounting fraud. You could have all kinds of different things.
Yeah, you don't know, the unknown.
Right. But with Bitcoin, it's going to dip because there are going to be other things that happen. So we're going to have these dips, but that is when it is going to be a good time to buy because it is going to go back up. There's what can go wrong? Okay. There's no sexual harassment lawsuit coming in here. We didn't have a bunch of priests in here with, altar boys. There's no lawsuits that can come from anywhere about anything. There's no accounting fraud that could happen. There's none of these other things that could happen with a typical stock, the way we typically look at things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And you nailed it. the blockchain and Bitcoin in particular is designed to be the purest form of and the simplest form of commerce ever.
Right.
It doesn't have an opinion. It just says you wanted to transfer something from here to there. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done securely and as fast as possible. And that's
right.
it.
So,
that's all it does.
But it doesn't. It doesn't break down. So it's like, if it's only 21 million and you've already got certain people amount of momentum in the marketplace, it's going to ultimately hit these big high barriers.
Yeah, and that's why it can, because the supply and demand is real.
But yeah, the supply and demand is real, and the
scarcity
lack of and one of the other things you always look at is what is your risk versus reward, like we just talked about. If it can't go down and if you can't get sued and you can't have other people doing things that could screw you up or cause, like you can in every other company, literally, right? In pretty much every big business, is you got a CEO who could screw everybody up. Okay. Yeah. You don't have that in Bitcoin. Okay. And that's something that people really got to get their mind around. This is totally different. This is, like you said, it's just a platform that really is exchanging. It's a payment platform is really all it is, a digital payment platform that can't break and can't break. It can't be like hacked where somebody's like embezzling from you or anything like that. Okay. It's like, that's what this is. And it's got a finite number. So, Ethereum's good. Ethereum's going to always keep going up, but they've got so many different shares out there. I mean, it's never going to be the king. Bitcoin, I think, is going to be the king because it's
Ethereum has this problem. It's got unlimited supply, so that it doesn't have that.
So it doesn't never have an unlimited cap, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
And I'll this brings up something in my mind that back in the day, right? When I first got into cryptocurrency, I was an advisor to a coin that was being launched called the Nico coin. It was representatives from the Nikola Tesla Foundation up in Canada. And I helped with, edit a paper that on how do you value a real cryptocurrency? And there's three key things. There's community, which Bitcoin has in millions and growing by millions every month.
Right.
There's a liquidity, which Bitcoin is very, very liquid, and when that liquidity gets on the scarcity side, price goes up. And the third thing is technology. So it's technology that works, and with Bitcoin as being as simple as it is, that it only has one function, what we're just talking about it, and with like with the Lightning Network that runs parallel to it, that has speeded up the transactions. A day-to-day transactions on a Bitcoin is completely feasible at a Visa type of transaction level on a daily basis, no problem. So those three things are key to any, like look at a Dogecoin. It has community. Right now it has liquidity. Doesn't really have the technology because the whole coin was based on a meme. It was a joke. So yeah, there's community behind it. As long as that community stays behind it, it'll probably be around, but that community could go away at any point in time. So that's a coin that you may or may not want to long-term. I'm not giving you advice here. Steve and I are not giving any type of investment advice. We're just talking. You may be cautious about that. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think one of the most important things about any type of, asset value, anything of store of value, whether it be gold or silver, anything like that, is liquidity. I mean, and how instant is your liquidity? I mean, you go try selling stock and see how quickly you need the money, okay, or different things like that. Or you got bond, you got all kinds of different things that might be, assets that you have. Okay. You try and get rid of your car, what's that going to take? What's it going to take to get rid of your watch? It's like you've got all these assets. Okay. But how many of them are truly instantaneously liquid?
Not much.
I don't know of any other asset that I have that's instantaneously liquid.
No, yeah. I mean, what's obviously cash is extremely liquid because
maybe if you got a line of credit on your house, that's instantaneous liquid.
Kinda, yeah.
But
I mean, if you had to pay that off, you have to sell the house, which it's going to take at least 30 days at a crazy market, even a fast market.
Yeah.
So I think the fastest I've seen is 22 days.
But again, yeah, in most of those things, there are in I guess one of the other points is with most assets that are liquid, a lot of times there are penalties, okay, for,
Right.
you know, getting rid of them fast. And like, if you need the money right now, you know, there's not a lot of things that you can turn into cash that fast without some sort of a penalty, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's you know, and this brings up a point. It's a little off the subject, but it's important. Something that there's this thing called shapeshifting in the Bitcoin and blockchain world. It's basically you know, everything's kind of paired with Bitcoin. Every new coin that comes out, you'll see it's BTC slash and then that coin's thing. And so anything paired with Bitcoin, you can swatch with Bitcoin just as a swap. You're not selling it; you're kind of swapping it because it's paired with it. And so that it increases the liquidity of it because you're not most of the times you're not looking for a person to buy, but you can swap it quickly.
Right.
And so that makes the beauty of these altcoins out there that's even going to grow. And because Bitcoin is the underlying coin on that, it adds value, intrinsic value into the Bitcoin. But
all right,
tangent. Sorry, but that was what my brain was doing.
Well, there you go. Well, I want to let everybody know I had some good conversations yesterday. I think we found that we've identified some of the things that we're going to be really sharing with everybody here to where they can now earn while they learn about Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital currencies. It looks like we should be able to put that into action here, maybe as early as Friday. You know, where we'll know a little bit more about that. And
you know what? I'll interject real quickly, Steve. We're always looking for opportunities, you and I, because you know we're in this world, and if we can find something that we believe will work, we'll share it with you guys.
Adds value to our community. That's the most important thing. You know, as you can see, we're not here trying to sell you guys anything. We're trying to help you out and educate you. And if we can't find something that's going to truly add value, but not just so much add value, we want to be able to help you learn about this, but also make money. Not make money, but earn Bitcoin. Okay. I mean, being able to have the ability to earn Bitcoin and not taking away from everything else you're doing. I mean, you know, that Bitcoin just sits there. It gets worth more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some ways to do this to really accumulate a lot of wealth in the next 12 months. So, you know, I put together a package I think everybody's going to like. It's going to really show people what they can do over the next 12 months to really create some wealth in this Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital currency world. So stay tuned. We will be bringing that to you here, hopefully in the next couple of days. As soon as we get the final thing where we can actually go in and see that it's doing what we want it to do, we'll be sharing it with you.
Awesome. Well, take care. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you mañana.